Mm-hmm.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. This is your transfer news show. Of course, it's your transfer news show because we are in the midst of the transfer window and we have got news coming out consistently. Now, Diogo Costa is going to be the main point that we're going to talk about today in the whole goalkeeper situation. I've got a striker that I want to suggest to Sam and I want to have a conversation about him. We'll get onto that in a minute. Italian clubs pleading poverty over the Jadon Sancho deal. Nothing new there. And also some quotes coming out from Christian Eriksen as well on his farewell and his time at Manchester United. So we'll save it for that end, which is quite a nice ending for anyone who has seen the quotes, to be fair. Now, Sam, this goalkeeper situation, much like a lot of the other transfers, a bit of a merry-go-round in it with new names popping up left, right and centre. Now, apparently both Manchester United and Man City are very interested in Diogo Costa, who's expected to leave FC Porto this summer. Although Costa has a £64 million release clause, he could leave for around £50 million. He has informed close friends that he has a dream of playing in the Premier League. Now, price tag aside, is he someone you would consider out of the options we've been linked with?
I do like the Portuguese reporting. They've told good friends of good friends that his dream is to play in the Premier League. I'm like, where are they getting this shit from? Like, it's always funny that. What was the one? Who was the report where he said his bags were packed and he's ready to go to the airport? Do you remember that one?
I do remember it, but I can't remember what specific player it was. But yeah, you are right. I remember that one.
Shite, they put stuff on, but yeah. Yeah, price is a big factor because I think the only way we get a goalkeeper is if Onana leaves, and Nick's lights just died.
Right, happens.
Yeah, I think, if he doesn't leave, I don't see us getting a number one top goalie coming in. Maybe I see us getting a number two, like cause there's rumours of Bayindir going, so maybe see number two to try and compete with Onana. But yeah, unless Onana leaves, I just don't see it happening. And we've seen nobody's really coming. I know there was the Monaco link, but apparently that broke down over wages. So yeah, I've not really seen anything. But yeah, I think he's a good goalie. I know we were linked with him a while ago, and he was costing about 70 million? I think they were 70, 80 million. I think they were quoting on him, which is expensive. Is that more than Kepa? How much?
Yeah, he's the most expensive in it. I think he was 75-ish.
Yeah. So there you go. But again, he's had a couple of mistakes in him recently. Costa, like against us, was it Rashford shot where it just sort of p-rolled
and Højlund
past him and Højlund. That's worrying. Because Højlund can't hit a barn door if his life depended on it. So if he's scoring past you, that's a bit worrying.
Big red flag.
So yeah, I don't see it happening personally. I don't see it happening, but maybe somebody comes in for Onana. Maybe that happens and then we can move. But yeah, I don't see it happening. I think he's better option than Martinez. But I personally would go out and get a second goalie to try and push Onana so he knows his space is not safe. Because last year, basically, you're going to play because when Bayindir came in and everyone was asking for the opportunity, he shit his pants as well. So there's nobody to really... And what's the other option? Tom Heaton. Yeah, fantastic. So if we can go out and get, is it Chevalier, I think, has been mentioned. That Milinkovic-Savic has been mentioned. I know there was another one as well that I'm missing the name of.
So we've put a poll up at the start of the show, which people are starting to kind of vote on now, saying which goalkeeper would you go for out of Martinez, Costa, Trafford and Bulka. Bulka being the goalkeeper for Nice that we've been linked with. Now, I know there are other names in there, but Costa straight off the bat, 100%, only had like 6-7 votes because obviously we just started the show. But he seems the obvious one that people would go for. There is a lot of quality there, isn't there? But it's just the mistakes, like you say. Yeah. It's worrying, isn't it?
Yeah. I think James Trafford is going to Newcastle. I think they've agreed a fee today, I believe. So I think he is going to Newcastle. Yeah. Although, if you believe the fucking story from the Telegraph, we're at fault for why Newcastle can't buy players. So there you go. It's our fault that they can't buy players. So there you go. But yeah, I think the better option would be to sell Bayindir and then go and get a second choice one to push Onana and then deal with the Onana situation next year. Maybe we can get him out next year. I just don't think it's going to be the focus this summer. It seems like we've got the two forwards in. I think the striker thing's going to tail on till August. We're going to sell some players and then maybe a midfielder. maybe that's the next one. Hopefully, anyway.
Yeah, it feels like we need certainty at the minute, doesn't it, with the goalkeeper position. I was reading Carl Anker's article on The Athletic about the goalkeeper situation, which go and read if you haven't seen it. I thought that was very interesting. He made some really good points. Certainty was the word that kept getting used, because it feels like Onana, when you watch him in a minute, is very... everything's got risk involved on it, whether it's him keeping hold of the ball, inviting pressure, whether it's trying along a certain pass. You need stability at the minute with such kind of a fluid changing system. So I don't know if Costa's going to provide that. I haven't watched him enough. I've just seen him for Portugal quite a bit, and the odd time for kind of Porto, obviously whenever we played against him. For Portugal, he seems pretty good. But then it's that old thing, like, you can't sign players based on what they do for their international team, you know? That's what I feel like.
I'm gonna look at his stats now on Transfermarkt. I just see, because somebody it might have been us actually, because we looked up the mistakes, didn't we, between Martinez and Onana. Martinez had more mistakes, didn't he?
Yes, errors leading to goal and errors leading to shots. Combined,
which is interesting.
I think it was.
So 32 games in the Portuguese league, 16 clean sheets. So half.
But then
half games.
The competition that he's facing is a lot less than the Premier League, isn't it?
Yeah. Goals conceded 27. He got 3 goals out of 10 games in the Europa League as well. So
he got 3 goals.
Yeah. No. So 3 goals conceded.
Oh, 3 goals conceded
out of 10 games. If you scored 3 goals, I'd be like, Jesus Christ. So yeah, total for last year: 43 games played, 45 goals conceded, 19 clean sheets. So
it's so hard to predict though. Off like I said, the Portuguese league, because the quality is just it is a lot different, and people can say the same for Gyökeres and stuff. But I was just looking at errors leading to goals, which is 0. So zero errors leading to a goal, 0 errors leading to a shot, penalties committed 0 as well. So in that department, he seems pretty fine for Porto. Yeah.
So Onana, 50 games played, 65 goals conceded, 11 clean sheets. So he's got 5 less clean sheets, Onana, and he's got a hell of a lot more goals conceded, 20 more goals conceded. So yeah.
Kevin Keelan saying, you know nothing, Jon Snow. Game of Thrones reference there. Like it. Charlie Malman, Sancho to Fenerbahce, only option left. It's almost silly. We'll get onto Sancho and these Italian clubs in a minute, because honestly, the way they go on, you would think they wouldn't have a fucking pot to piss in, mate. Genuinely. But we'll get into that in a second. I want to move the conversation on. Just before I do, actually, that player that he was on about at the start was Amrabat, by the way.
Yeah.
Sofia, packing the bags.
Oh, yeah. That was Amrabat.
It's just come to me now.
So fun.
He has his bags packed. You remember reading it? Like,
he's ready to go to the airport.
You're either his mum or someone really close to him. Or how on earth could you possibly know that?
You're looking through his window right now as you type this copy.
Yeah. In which case, I'd probably ring the police. Anyway, right, let's move the conversation on. So this was, usually when we do these kind of shows, it's like transfer news, who we've been linked with and blah, 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 right? But I have to push this point kind of out there, okay? When we were speaking to Carl about strikers, weren't we, if you remember, when he put his piece out about Samu and a load of others. And when we was having that conversation, there was one name that I mentioned, and it was Nick Woltemade. Don't know if you remember, a German striker, very young, plays for Stuttgart, great at linking play, good ability.
The name don't ring a bell, but I remember you were mentioning a striker.
So the name Woltemade, it doesn't seem like it's spelt like that. I've had to double check the pronunciation here, and I know it is. We see it on paper, it doesn't look like how it's spelled, but that's apparently how they say it in Germany. You can imagine it, Woltemade. It's got that kind of finger. Volt. You see it straight off the bat. He plays a striker, more withdrawn role, and the reason why I brought it up at the minute in the under-21s, because obviously there's tournament ongoing at the moment, he scored 6 goals, assisted 3 in just 386 minutes. So a direct goal involvement every 43 minutes on average. He got 12 goals and 2 assists for Stuttgart last season as well. Now, I'm not saying bring him in as the number 1 striker target. We haven't even been linked with him, I don't think. I'm not seeing anything like that unless it's been kind of an aggregator. But as an alternative option, this guy is 6'6", by the way. The guy's fucking massive. Jesus. But he's not great in the air, which is weird. But he's incredible with his feet, like Xerxes almost level with his feet, and he's a good finisher as well. Stuttgart got him on a free, so it's just someone who I've been scouting at. I think he was the youngest player ever to play for Werder Bremen, which some of the talent that's come through there, and one of the main reasons for Elfsberg's promotion as well to the Bundesliga. So just your thoughts on a second striker option, because obviously we're being linked with number 9s at the minute heavily, which is Osman, Gyökeres, whoever. But do you not think we need two in that regard?
Oh no, we definitely need to, because Rasmus Højlund, like we've spoken about Rasmus Højlund enough.
Too much. Yeah.
It's an issue. Xerxes isn't that goal scoring guy, is he? Like he's not. Like he's more of a link play, more of a sort of intermediary to bring players like Cunha, like Mbumo in and stuff like that. And then your next guy along is Chido, who's a 17-year-old kid in his first professional season.
Yeah.
And I think that's a bit unfair to chuck him in and be like, yeah, you're the third option. So, yeah, I agree. Even if you brought in a Gyökeres or an Osman or something like that, I think it'd be nice to have somebody like that. A Bayern not interested in this guy, by the way. If he's that good and he's playing in the Bundesliga, a Bayern not looking at him right now, because that's normally what they do.
They've got Harry Kane, haven't they? But I know what you mean as like a secondary option. It would not. That is what they do. That is like prime Bayern Munich in it. Any sniff of a half decent player in the German league,
young German player, right, run on it.
Yeah,
we're taking
come to the champions. We're going to monopolize this league. And basically, that is what we do. That's how we stayed on top for so long. But there's a goal, and I was watching more clips of him before after seeing this stat, because I've seen bits of him before, but I watched him against Wolfsburg, I think it was, and he came off the bench and he skinned like 3-4 players, proper tidy finish, and I was like, I like the look of this player. So just remember the name, people. Remember, and he's got my first name as well, which is something else kind of like,
When he goes to Bayern in the summer.
Yeah, remember, we probably won't sign him, but Woltemade, Nick Woltemade, remember that name. Literally 22 years old. Seems like a really, really exciting talent, but it just doesn't feel like the budget will stretch like that, does it?
No, unless we do some really good sales, which we're going to get onto Sancho in a minute. Doesn't look likely, because every other club is just going, nah, we've got no money, lads. Like it's not happening. So yeah, I can't see us selling well in order to fund an extra player like that, or getting a really class midfielder like Stieler or Anton Stack, or like somebody like that, which I would love. Again, talent in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, any position. I think goalkeeper, centre mids, wing backs, strikers is sales in it. There's no way they're going to go spend big money on any of them. So that's the situation.
I read. I don't think it was Carl's article, because he doesn't really do finance and stuff like that. Maybe Mark Richley, who again I really like. He was saying we do have money on the revolving credit facility. I think about 180 million. However, Omar Barada is very hesitant to use it, because then we have to pay it back, which then means we're not self-sustaining, and we're not thinking, and they want to turn United into a self-sustaining thing, which is kind of stupid, because whilst we've got £1 billion worth of debt, we're never going to be self-sustained, because we're constantly going to be paying that off. But that's another question for another day, isn't it? So
so outgoings are super important, as we know. Now, I actually, to be bluntly honest with everyone who's watching, whether you are watching this live or later on, I don't want to talk about this player, but he's in the news constantly, and the one thing we're constantly hearing about is his fucking wages, and I'm sick of it. But Romano reported today that Juventus and Napoli cannot reach an agreement on Sancho's wages. Both clubs have no problem paying 25 million to Man United, but wages are a problem. United want a full sale, but interested clubs want a loan, so part of his salary is covered. Fuck it. Yawn, yawn, yawn. We've heard this fucking story a million times before. What do we do with Sancho, man? How did we get rid of him?
The only way out is if we pay, say he takes a lower wage, I think we subsidize some of those wages, isn't it? That seems like the only way out. Like, I don't see any other way out. Like, do not loan him again. Like, I'm not fucking loaning him again.
Yeah. Because he's going to go on free as well, isn't he?
Exactly. It's fucking insane at this point that we're still talking about this player. He needs to go. Like, he has to go. So maybe you subsidize it. Obviously, we're still early in the window, so we don't have to sort of approach that yet.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll go on pre-season tour. I really don't think he'll go, because I think Amrin would kill him I think, if he ended up on pre-season tour.
Yeah, I think he said to Garnacho, didn't he, like, you better hope you find a fucking club.
Yeah.
And so I wonder what he's going to say to him.
I just think, he needs to go. The saga has dragged on long enough. He's been on loan at 2 other fucking clubs. He's had a 3-month break given by Ten Hag. Like, the dude needs to go. Like, just find a way. Do something, please. Like, because this saga is just ridiculous at this point.
We were saying in the chat, weren't we, that it's crazy how much Murtaugh and Richard Arnold and Woodward have killed this club with those contracts. Yeah. Something I mentioned, I did it on the show yesterday as well. Mason Mount, we bought 2 years ago, was it, I think?
Yeah.
2 years ago, right? Wasn't it? In the summer, one of the first signings through the door. £60 million. 1 year left on his contract. We give him £270,000 a week. 270k. We just Mbumo and Cunha would just give 150k prime Premier League players right now. Like there's just such a contrasted difference from what, and it's a very low bar in it when you compare it to Murtaugh and Arnold, because what they was offering out. Rashford 350, fucking yeah, go on then. Casemiro last minute 350, fucking go on. Yeah. Sancho chased you for ages. It's mad. It's absolutely mad.
Anthony was on over £200,000 a week. He was on £200,000 a week, and we paid 90 million for him. Like, that is insanity of the highest order.
And do you know what's funny? I think we were sat there at the time we were signing these players like, we still want to come United, we're still signing big players, and reality at the time was like, these players are getting massive contracts. That's why they're so eager to join the club. And we knew that we was paying them decent, but when it starts adding up and it gets to a point where we have a bulk of players now, excluding Garnacho because his wage isn't massive, probably 4, 5, 6 players that we can't shift because they're all on 200 grand plus. Nightmare situation. Absolute nightmare.
And then you've got other players who not even on massive contracts, but because of their performance is piss poor or they're injury prone, nobody's coming near him to touch him. Malacia, I think Matt Critchley said nobody's been interested. Zero interest in Malacia. And that's a player we need to get off, like the Bucks. We need to get him out, gone. Nobody's interested. Luke Shaw, ideally, you'd be able to try and sell him, but nobody's going to be interested because the dude's just injured 24/7.
Yeah.
It's just like we have no sellable commodities in this team. Like, none. It's ridiculous.
For any further updates, by the way, on the Jadon Sancho situation, keep a close eye on it. Check out our socials, which are on your screen right now. TikTok, X, and Instagram. Instagram and X mainly for news stories. TikTok more kind of edits and clips. We put a fun edit up yesterday of the kind of Mbumo, Cunha, Ahmad all together, which I think will absolutely cook, but we're not at that stage yet because we haven't officially signed Mbumo, at least anyway. So, yeah, let's get to the comments, see what people are saying. Danish Kumar saying Jean Victor, goalkeeper, he's the great option. Haven't seen anything of him. So, yeah, I've heard of him, but I haven't watched him, so I can't really make an opinion on that. Rajat V says, have Man United raid lower EPL teams like they did with Mbumo and Mateus Cunha? There's a question for you, actually. What other players would you take from bottom half of the table, you think, the teams that finished there? Who would you go and raid? Whoever like put that in, by the way. Really good question.
We finished in the bottom. We finished in the bottom,
didn't we? But I mean, you've got Brentford, Palace, Everton. Like, you've got a few teams in there.
I like Norgaard's going to Arsenal. I like him.
Yes.
I think he's a very good player. 15 million as well. That's a fucking
Arsenal fans in typical fashion whinging about it, and you're like,
oh, fuck off! Shut up.
Like, Jorginho did a job for him. They signed him for 10 million. He was decent for a year or two. Like, what are you whinging about? Like, you need depth.
Yeah, he's a good player as well. Like, I like him. He's a decent player.
Good.
Ndai from Everton.
Yeah,
he's a fantastic player.
Yeah,
really good player. Really like him.
Eze Palace would be an easy shout, wouldn't it?
Eze, be excellent. I don't think he'd ever come to United though, with the way Palace are in a minute. Who's the kid who skinned? Was it Diblin who skinned Dallo at Southampton?
Yeah, he gave him a nightmare. Fucking nightmare.
I like Diblin. He's really good. Yeah, and Dye's a guy I look at and I go, he's going to be a big team soon. He's going to be a really big team.
Yeah, he's a quality player for them, innit? I was just looking at other teams as well. Fulham. I don't think there's many from there. But I feel like Fulham have loads of Robinson. Yeah, great shout. Yeah. But I feel like Fulham are a team that have loads of players that are like 7 out of 10. But none that are like 9 out of 10. They just feel more like...
There's no like top stars in the team. Like, Iwobi plays consistently good for them. Like, he's always decent, but I wouldn't sign him, I don't think.
Good question, Rajat. I like that. Charlie's saying Sancho's gone next year either way, but we still have to wait for that. That's the annoying thing.
Yeah. We're still going to have stories every fucking week about this guy.
Yeah. It's annoying.
I just can't be
It's almost as drawn out as the first initial transfer. Do you remember how long we was chasing him for?
Oh,
2 years.
2 years?
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're waiting to sell him, and it's taken us years to do that as well. The whole transfer has just been a fucking nightmare. Utter nightmare. Yeah. Hesty13, I hope Rashi, Sancho, Garner not going to be on pre-season. High chances Garnacho will leave. Brown envelopes floating about regarding Sancho. Yeah. Definitely. TK says dogs are forever in a push-up position. I have no idea what that means. Is that got a deeper meaning, or is that just...
No, I think it's just factual.
No, yeah. I mean, fair enough, TK.
By the way, somebody's just posted Cristiano's new contract. Have you seen this, by the way?
No, go on.
Right, so he gets £178 million a year, which works out about 3.4 million a week. He's got 15% ownership of the club, 24.5 million signing bonus, £80,000 bonus per goal, 40,000 bonus per assist, 4 million worth of private jet expenses covered by the club, 16 people working for him full time, including drivers, housekeepers, chefs, gardeners, and security. 6.5 million bonus if they qualify for the Asian League Cup. 4 million bonus if he wins the Golden Boot. 8 million bonus if they win the league title. 60 million worth of sponsorship deals promised by the club with new Saudi companies. Dear fucking Lord.
And how old? He's 40 years old. He's
40.
Just got that.
He's fucking balling out of control.
I know with Cristiano, obviously, it's also the profile that he brings. He's
the image,
one of the most followed guys on social media, so I get that. But even though it's still staggering amounts that in it for a 40-year-old Ronaldo. That is, you got other players looking at him in the prime going, how the fuck can I get that? Like, how can I get close to that? But everything he's done in the game, you can't say it justifies it, but if there's going to be a player who gets it, then it's probably going to be him in it, to be fair.
Anybody who's sort of saying and stuff like that, like, if that's offered to you, you're fucking taking it, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, you're taking it all day. That's
for
insane.
Sure. Now, we're going to switch gears just for the last story. I don't know how you go from Ronaldo to Eriksen, like polar opposite players. But Eriksen's been speaking to the United team about his whole situation that happened, that we remember at the Euros after his collapse in 2021. And he's been saying, I think, obviously, the football part's always been, after the heart attack, has been second part of my life, because obviously the life should be the most important thing. I realised that after what happened, I really enjoy playing football and just being lucky to push myself, being the footballer I am today, and push myself to play like a club like United is something I hold dear to my heart. To prove a point to people out there that these quotes have been put weird. If you're having a tough time, you can turn things around. I would say even in the darkest times, there'll be something positive with time, and it'll be the same here with this club. Time will heal a lot of stuff, and then that's how we come back and bounce back. I think I've proven I'm a footballer, not the guy who just had a heart attack. I'm the footballer, and yeah, that's something I'm really proud of. He is a class act on and off the pitch, innit? I know when you look at his time towards the end now in the past couple of seasons or whatever, especially since that injury against Reading, won it, I think, in the Cup. But he is just the way he carries himself. He's a super professional. Seems like a very chilled guy. Seems like someone you'd get on with. To be fair, I don't know why.
Yeah, he looks. I think it's a Scandi thing. They're all very chill, very
Lindelof Iceman
lads.
Yeah,
like they're all very chill guys. And that I was watching that game when that happened to him. That heart attack. That was terrifying.
Awful,
like the way he just sort of fucking dropped was like
scary.
Horrific.
Yeah. Who was the centre back or goalkeeper who ran over? It was Jar, wasn't it? Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. Basically saved his life, like by doing it. And that was terrifying. And you thought he's never gonna play football again. Like that's it. Like, he might be dead. Like we know. And then within less than a year, he was back playing football. Like which was insane, like for Brentford, because he had a defibrillator installed in his heart. You're not allowed to play in the Serie A, I believe, if you have that.
Yes,
which
I remember
he had to
that.
leave Inter.
Yeah,
that's why he obviously got a chance at Brentford. We signed him on a free.
Did well.
I think that first season, him and Casemiro under Ten Hag were fantastic.
Yeah,
I thought he played extremely well. Really enjoyed like what he brought to United. really good, one of the only technical players we had in the team in terms of passing and vision and stuff like that. Really good on set pieces, but I just think his legs started going like the last couple of seasons and just couldn't contribute to the team as much. But yeah, class act, always will be welcome around Old Trafford, and I like him a lot. But it's just a shame we got him towards the tail end of his career rather than when when he was at Spurs in his prime and stuff like that. It's just a shame. But
That's
I really
story,
like him.
innit?
I've got
no
ill will against him.
No, but I think it's an important point that you make about like his legs going, and obviously that's nothing in relation to what the incident that happened. Just in general, like on the pitch, I do feel like players of Eriksen's profile are starting to be pushed out the game a little bit because of the athleticism. You look at Premier League football now, especially, it's dominated by athleticism, intensity, pressing, transitions, speed. It is all about that. Relentlessness. And it seems like playmakers like him, I mentioned Jorginho before as well, who was another one who had a system in place at Napoli where he could flourish. And he did all right when he came to the Premier League initially for Chelsea. He was decent. Then obviously played for Arsenal. But it gets to a point when he gets to a certain age, especially a 30-year-old of Eriksen's kind of build and the way he plays, I just feel like it can only be used either as a late sub when we're trying to break a low block or in kind of slower paced games if it's like earlier stages like FC20 or, somewhere in the Europa League. It does feel like they're being pushed out the game a bit though, doesn't it?
Like if you look at sort of, I as everybody knows who watch this channel and like I love 90s, early 2000s Serie A, Italia football. Yeah. If you took someone like Pirlo, who is a god of the midfield, like unbelievable player. Yeah, like never ran, was never fussed. Like it looked like a guy playing the violin and drinking wine at the same time. Like he was just so chill. Try and put him into the modern day Premier League, he ain't surviving. Like he's not. He's just getting battered and he's getting shoved into and stuff. And that style just doesn't exist anymore. The long hair and just sort of chilling and stuff like that. Like it just doesn't exist anymore. And that's the way the Premier League's going. Like And I think something's missing because I do miss those sort of players. I do like those sort of players. Berbatov was another one of those players. Just unfussed, wasn't arsed, but just did his magic when he was on the ball. So, it's a shame that those sort of players are going away, really.
Nowadays, you need players, and there's a lot of teams that are recruiting players who can do both sides of the game. And I'm not saying that wasn't the case back in the 90s. Roy Keane could very comfortably do both sides of the game. He was a kind of natural box-to-box fit and to a very good standard. But I'm just saying, you talk about the levels now, the intensity and what's required. You do need someone like either a Gravenberch, who we speak to Alice about the other day, whether it's Caicedo, Rodri, like these powerhouses, but who are also really good on the ball. Maybe not Caicedo as much. Caicedo's not incredible on the ball. It's maybe a bit of a bad example, but Rodri's someone and I get it. It can get to a point with like a Busquets. Busquets was never the most athletic player, but his positioning, intelligence would cover that.
He didn't have to be. Yeah, no. He was in the right place
at the right time. But the demand at the minute, I think that's why Newcastle have got such a good blend, because I think Guimaraes, for example, you look at his engine, compares with anyone really in the league. Tonali's another one as well. He's a dog, but on the ball, quality as well. And I feel like United need a player like that. Right, back to the comment section. 2 more years for Shaw to ride into the sunset. Oh, my God. Sanderberg, I don't. You know my thoughts on Sander Turd. Not for me.
Nick's not a fan. Not a fan.
I remember when Laurie first reported that, actually, and I was like, they're not going for Sander Turd, surely. some people still might take him, but it's just not for me.
Maybe.
I'm tired of fans making fun of Luke Shaw being overweight. Let's stop that, as he's already has enough on his plate. Hey, TK. TK. I like that. You know what? I thought that was like a really genuine, heartfelt message then.
Comment.
And then he brought it back. He brought it back with enough on his plate. I love it. Absolutely love it. Big up Nathan in the chat as well. Davesh Yade says, I heard the news of John Victor. How much you rate him? Haven't watched him. Someone mentioned him before, the name in the chat. Yeah, I'll go and have a look at him. Arden Jashiri is the modern day centre mid. He's good on the balls, passing unreal, and the boy's got a serious engine. Watch him against Edison, another one of our targets. Isn't that Milano signing?
They're trying to, I believe, but they're not reaching the price point that Club Brugge want. So, I'm not sure.
Just I'd keep an eye on Mainu for next season. There seems to be a lot of noise around him at the minute. Not like we already know he's a good player, obviously, but his future at the club. Amarin seems to like him a lot, and hopefully they find a place for him in that midfield because God knows where's he going to play. Man.
They have to. The guy is too talented to not play. Like he's too good.
Yeah, I agree. Look, we're coming to the end of the show, just on the 30-minute mark. If anyone has any questions, any target suggestions, anything
there's a question there.
Go for it.
Would you take Pirlo over Zidane?
No chance.
I agree. I love Pirlo. I really do. Like, I think he's phenomenal, but Zidane is on another level. Zidane is fucking Christ.
Probably the greatest midfielder ever. Really.
One of them. He's definitely one of them.
I can't think of another midfielder who's can do everything what Zidane could. In my opinion, I thought he was fucking unbelievable.
Is it Fergie who said, "Give me Zidane and 10 sticks of wood, and I'll win you the league"? I think he said.
Yeah.
And
do you know what was Zidane? We were just talking about midfielders being physical. That boy he was a nasty bastard.
He like 6'2" as well. Like he's a big lad.
Thick boy. Like threw his weight about. And then on the ball is brilliant. There was a game where he plays against Brazil in 2002 or 2004. I can't remember what it was, in a World Cup or something. And he just absolutely dominates the pitch. And obviously that pitch was littered with like Kaká, Dino, fucking Henry, all these players. And he was the one standing out. For me, Zidane, he's like, and that goal as well, the left-footed volley in the final.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I can't remember what it was. And it was the first time I ever saw it in like sort of on TV when he did a double drag back in the middle of the midfield and just sort of tore through someone. I was just like, how the fuck what did he do there? Like, how do I learn that? Like, what is it? What did he do? Like, Jesus Christ. Unbelievable player.
Serious player. Well, we talk about the kind of contrast now at the minute, the way football is and what it requires. And we've had this conversation a few times about, like, it just felt like, and I don't know if it's a nostalgic thing. Maybe people were saying the same thing when they was watching, like, Cruyff and Zico and them kind of players. It just feels like that purest football's been taken out of the game a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying? Those footballers that we all love.
You'll never get a Ronaldinho nowadays. Like, he won't, because he'll have it trained out of him. Like, he'll just have it pulled out of him. Like, you can't be doing step overs. Can't be rainbow flicking it over people's heads.
Pressing. Get on that.
Yeah, like you can't. Like, it just wouldn't be allowed. Like, imagine Ronaldinho in a pep team. He'd have it snuffed out of him within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Like, it's just
times.
it's I wish we could still have a couple of those. Like, it was a lot more fun of a time when you could have those players on the pitch, those like Mavericks. UTFR said Maradona would be the GOAT in today's game. He was a bit before my time. I know people speak about him in like a godlike sense, but he was a little bit before my time, just a little bit.
He was basically just the Messi of that era, wasn't he? Really, Diego Maradona. Like, he could do everything. The comparisons are actually both small, agile, unbelievable dribblers, good finishers, Argentinian. Like, the comparisons there. Yeah. Messi, for me, I'd always been of the opinion, and I don't want to open a wormhole here because I know it was a massive debate. I was firm by it as well that Ronaldo was better, and I think it was more coming out of, obviously Ronaldo played for United. I adored him as a kid, so I always stood by that. But in reality, when you watch Lionel Messi play football, honestly, there is nothing. I will tell my kids that forever. Like, you will never, I don't think you'll ever see a player like him again. Lamelle may end up on that same trajectory.
Maybe.
But some of Messi's goals that he scored, you just don't see it. The guy is fucking just above everyone else. Incredible. I'm still doing bits now for Inter Milan, scoring free kicks and shit. Like, crazy.
And he's clean. He's clean as fuck as well. Like, don't do drugs, don't drink, don't get in trouble in the media, like nothing. Whereas obviously Maradona was great, but he had his issues, didn't he? Like, he had massive problems.
Yeah, white powder being one of them.
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I have to agree. I think of this era, Messi's probably the top one. Like, him and Ronaldo, there is nobody else. Like, nobody comes
That's
close.
sad though. I don't feel like that rivalry. Them two in prime La Liga years, one at Madrid, one at Barcelona. You'll never see that again for a long, long time. I don't think.
No.
For a long, long time. But yeah,
people are trying to make it happen, aren't they, with Mbappe and Yamal and stuff like that. But it's not the same. Just not the same.
It don't feel the same, does it? Maybe with time. We'll see. Anyway, we'll leave it at that, people. Like I mentioned midway through the show, if you want to drop us a follow on socials, they are on your screen. TikTok, Instagram, and X. Drop us a follow for all the latest transfer news. By the minute, pretty much, and any other kind of news stories, go on the Instagram as well. If you want to subscribe to the channel, we're currently on 17,650 subs, so getting closer to 20k. I know I've seen a couple of new names in the chat, so please do consider clicking that subscribe button. And what I'm going to do is, I was supposed to do it today, but tomorrow I'll drop that members video that we had and release it for the public at around 12 o'clock. And then we've got tomorrow. Is that confirmed, Sam? Just before?
Yeah, Sporting Sam, Sam Fonseca. What was his podcast called? Is it Alverde?
Yeah, Algarve. Is it something?
We'll put it in the chat tomorrow in the description when he comes on. But it's 12 o'clock tomorrow. He's coming on tomorrow. So, yeah, asking about Jaqueires, asking about Ruben Amorim, asking about Sporting, all that good stuff. So, I know a lot of people have been asking for him to come on. So, yeah, he's going to come on. Yeah. I've put a link in the chat to the membership page. So, if you would like to join the membership, it's about £3-4 a month. It's about a meal deal, extra content, emojis, badge next to your name. You get news before anybody else. And then if there's when we do interviews with big journalists like Carl or Laurie and stuff like that, any offcuts, you guys will get them and nobody else will see it. Yeah. So, yeah, please consider joining it.
And Sam's voice is breaking then because that's how emotional he's getting about the membership.
I burped in the middle of a sentence.
Dedication to the cause, that's what we like to see. Anyway, people, we'll leave it at that. If anything breaks tonight, we'll go live. So turn on the notification bell so you do not miss a thing. We put a poll up at the start of the show saying which goalkeeper would you go for. Diogo Costa wins by a landslide, 72%. Thank you very much for